I am back with another video, and today's video is, well, it's going to be basically a vlog. The store I work in is currently closed for several days for refurbishment, so I have a few days off, which I'm really excited. Today's actually my second day off, and I wanted to show you some of the things that I have finished recently that I haven't shown you guys yet. So I'm going to start with the biggest thing, which you have seen me working on this, but you've never seen it complete. I still have to weave in ends for it though. That's the only thing I haven't done. But I finished my granny square cardigan. So it's quite quite a large cardigan, as you can see. It is one of those ones that you crochet into like a square and then you fold it in half and sew up the sides. So this is essentially what it looks like. You've got an armhole here and then one over this side here. Now I'll quickly stand up. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this properly, but I'll try and put it on for you guys to kind of get a better look at. So it just is one of those drapey styled cardigans, so it just looks like this. Hopefully you can kind of see in the camera. You can see I haven't weaved in my ends yet. I've got to do that. This is what it looks like. I'll try and show you the back. I love it. It's turned out so pretty, and it's 100% cotton. I did use two cakes of cotton yarn for this. Well, not all of two. I have, let me show you, about that much left of one. I think it's probably about 20 grams, maybe less, but I have that much left. I did use this one here. It's the Dahlia Halloween one from Hobie, and I used two of these. One was in the colorway Haunted House, and then the other colorway was Mad Scientist. So I have never worked with cotton like this before, and I have to say, you guys, I loved it. It was so easy to work with, and it's just glides over my crochet hook. It turned out beautiful. I absolutely love the finished project. It's not sort of too heavy. It's warmer because obviously it's a bigger item, but it's not sort of too warm because we're still technically in summer at the moment. But I love it. I love how this turned out. It was absolutely beautiful. So there's my first item I made, and that's actually my first garment I've ever made myself. I've never made a garment before for myself. I've made a poncho for my sister and a hooded cape for my niece, but I've never made anything for myself. So yeah, I love how it turned out. It was so easy to make. I actually used a free pattern off of the Hobie website. I will link the pattern for you in the description box for you if you are interested in doing that one. I actually did scale back the pattern a little bit. I didn't do as many rounds as it called for because they used a slightly different yarn than what I did in their pattern, so it was a little bit too big if I went the full amount of rounds, because I think there's something like 50 rounds and I only did like 45 or 46, I think. So I scaled it back just a fraction, and then I put the ribbing on around everything. So yeah, so there's that one. The next one I have finished, and I have not weaved the ends in on either, is actually this cute little doll sweater. This is what it looks like. It has not had any of the ends weaved in. It's not been blocked or anything like that. This is what it looks like. It's adorable. Like, I love it. So cute, you guys. So I actually have on my bed a stuffed elephant. I love it. It's one of my favorite things ever, and it stays on my bed all the time. And I wanted to, because like I've never made myself a sweater before, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a sweater for the elephant that I have that sits on my bed, because that's a good way of practicing for eventually when I make a sweater for myself. So I found a pattern online. I will link the pattern down below with a free pattern, and I did modify the pattern a bit simply because the pattern was great. It was a perfect pattern, easy to read, all that sort of jazz. But because I was knitting the sweater for my stuffed elephant that I have, it's not very big. It's only about this big. His, and I call it a he, body proportions are obviously different to what the sweater was intended for. So I did have to do a ton of math, which is not my strong point. I'm not good at math, you guys, but I had to do a ton of math to work out the measurements for like around the neck, the arms, the underarm, from like under the arm to the bottom of the sweater, around his body as well, to get the right fit. So I did actually have to calculate quite a bit, several times, because my first sweater was a failure and I pulled it out. I used this yarn the first time. I'm going to reuse it and do another one. But so I adjusted it. I actually cast on way more stitches for the ribbed neck than the pattern calls for. So it would fit around the neck on my elephant because he's got a bigger head. So I did that. So the ribbing is super cute. It's just a 1x1 rib, and it is knit from top down. And then I also cast on, because you do have to do increases and you do a raglan as well. So I did have to make it so that in each section of the raglan, when you're knitting it, because it knits into 5 sections, I had to change the amount of stitches that were in each section. So I had to calculate math for that as well. And then I did that, and then I separated for the sleeves, and I did have to increase the amount of sleeves. So once you pick up stitches in the underarm area, I did increase that as well so that the sleeves would fit, because he has a thicker arm because he's stuffed. Whereas I'm pretty sure this sweater was made for, like, the person that designed the pattern designed it for a doll and not a stuffed animal. So I did increase that. And then once I finished that area, I attached the sleeves last. So I knit the sleeves last, but like to create the armholes, once you get down to the body part, I actually started decreasing under the arms because his body, like when you do the increases to make it big enough for like the neckline, the shoulders, and that area, it becomes too big. So I did decrease under the arms, whereas the pattern does not call for decreases, but I had to make it fit better. So what I did was I put 4 decreases in each row under the arm, and I started on either side of the arm here. So I put a decrease here, and they went down as I went on both arms until I knew that it would fit. So it does fit now. I just need to attach the buttons, which I don't have any buttons yet, so I'll have to find the perfect color, but I did knit the buttonholes into the garment. So that's there, and then I'll just weave in the ends, and then I'll block it, and it'll just be so cute. And then it has a 1x1 rib on the bottom as well as the cuffs. Now, the pattern also calls for the sweater to actually open in the back. So this part in the pattern is actually the front, and this is the back. But I didn't like that. I wanted the sweater to open in the front. So I made it that way so it opens in the front. But it looks so cute, and I love how it turned out. I love it. I'm gonna make more. Now, I did use Hobie yarn again for that one. I used the Halloween sock wool, which is 75% superwash wool and 25% polyamide in the colorway 03. It does have a name, but I don't know what the color name is. I just know the number. And this is it here. I caked this up to knit. It's so squishy and soft, and so I have a bunch of it left over, so that will be for another project. But I picked, well, actually I didn't pick this color out. I had 6 Halloween colorways in this wool from this yarn from Hobie. And I said to my fiance, I was like, which one do you think would be a good color for a sweater? He knew I was making it for the elephant, and he picked out this one. So yeah, so I have 5 of the colors that I haven't opened yet, and still like a bunch in this. So really excited for that. But if you are interested in this little sweater pattern, I will link the pattern down below. It is free, like I said, but just keep in mind that I did have to change measurements and things like that a fair bit to fit my elephant, but I still use the basic pattern for the cute little sweater. So there is that, and I'm just in love, you guys, how it turned out. Then the next thing I finished is actually some fingerless mitts. I have weaved the ends in on one, but not the other. So this is what they look like. They are beautiful. These were actually crocheted using a front post double crochet for the entirety of this. Now, I use a free pattern off of Hobie for these. I also use the Tweed Delight from Hobie in the Ivory Neon colorway. Oh, this is so beautiful. I had 2 donut cakes, whatever you want to call them, of this Tweed Delight. They come in 50-gram donuts, so that's not a lot. And I had only ordered 2 because I wasn't sure if I was going to like the yarn or not, because I'd never tried it before. When I received it, though, I immediately fell in love with it. So I went looking for a pattern. I found this pattern. I was like, great. But I wanted to make this pattern and then the matching headband. But to do the 2 patterns, it actually called for 3 donuts of this. I didn't have 3, I had 2. So what I actually did was I made adjustments to both of the patterns. First of all, the mitts, I did not crochet them as long as the pattern called for. First off, I have what me and my fiance like to call T-Rex arms. I've got really short arms, and so the pattern did call for them to be a lot longer. And if I did that, it just would look stupid on me, because you can see from my hand here to my elbow, there is not a lot of space. So I decided to shorten the pattern, and I'll just put it on so I can show you. I decided to shorten the pattern because I wouldn't need the same length. And because I did shorten the pattern, it meant that I did not have to use 3 balls for the 2 patterns. I only used 2. So this is as long as I made it, which is really the perfect size for me. I didn't want them to come too high up on the fingers either. I shortened this length and this length because my little finger here is quite short, and if I went up too much more, it would have been too close to the tip of my finger, which I don't like. I've made patterns before where it's too close to the tip of my little finger and it just irritates me. So this is how I made it. I like it, and as you can see from where my elbow is, and please excuse my terrible skin on my elbow. My skin is peeling off my elbow for some reason. I think it's because I lean on that elbow all the time when I'm doing stuff. Because I have scoliosis, my body wants to lean in to the left, and because I lean on that elbow all the time, my skin started to peel a couple of days ago. I've been putting moisturizer and stuff on it, but just excuse that, okay? But you can see from where my elbow is to where the bottom of this is, there's not much space. This is why my fiance and I always joke about me having T-Rex arms. So that's why I didn't make it as long, because if I did, it would have come to about here, and I don't care for that. So that's how it turned out. They turned out great. I love the colorway. It's beautiful. As you can see, the neon colors in this, just so gorgeous. So there's that one. And then the last thing that I have made is the matching headband, which looks like this. Again, it is crocheted. I used 1 bowl or donut of the Tweed Delight. And actually, before I move on to this, I used 1 entire ball for this, and then like enough to do 2 rows of the top part from the second ball, because I played yarn chicken with the first ball and I lost. I still needed to do 2 more rows, so I just used a little bit of the yarn from the second ball to do 2 rows in that. And then the rest I used in this, and then this is literally all is left of that 2 donuts. So there's enough where I can make repairs if I need to, because I do like to keep a little bit of yarn from every project I do, enough to do repairs if I ever need to do repairs. So like I said, it is the end of summer. It will be Monday next week is the last day of summer for us here in Australia. So it will start to get cooler soon, hopefully. So I really wanted to make a headband because no matter what time of the year it is, my hair is always in a ponytail. So I tend to not wear beanies and things, but I want to try and wear more beanies this year, but we'll see. So I thought a headband like this would be a good option for me. This is also done in the front post double crochet style to create almost like a knit effect. It is stretchy to a certain point. And then it is literally the most simplest pattern, you guys. I did not do the full amount of rows for this. I think I still had like 2, maybe 3 more rows left, because it would have went higher, but I feel like that would have been A, way too big for me, and B, I didn't have enough yarn to be able to do that anyway. But I think this is the perfect size, and then you actually do crochet a tiny little piece here, so that once you finish doing the rounds, you grab the a center part and you squish it together, and then you sew on that little extra piece around it to create that bow effect. And it's just gorgeous. And like, I love the color of the yarn, like the neon tweed in it is just amazing. It's so cute, you guys. I'll show you what it looks like. You'll have to excuse me, my hair is tied up. So it won't come down any lower at the moment because my hair is tied up too high. But you get the idea. This is what it looks like. it will sit lower down over to cover my ears when my hair is tied up differently, but I can't do that right now. But this is what it looks like. I love it. It turned out so good, you guys. And like I said, this is a free pattern from Hobie as well, so I will link the pattern for this in the description box for you guys if you are interested. Now I will say, the yarn I used, which was the Tweed Delight, it is 85% wool, 10% acrylic, and 5% viscose. So this is, it does not have any, let's see. So this one, it says it needs to be hand washed, which makes sense because it is almost 100% wool, and those little viscose bits, which is all the neon tweed bits, would get all messed up if you put it in the washing machine. So just keep in mind that if you are going to use the Tweed Delight, it is a hand wash only. So I believe you also have to lay it flat once you do it. I always keep my labels for everything, so that way I can make a note in my knitting and crocheting planner, so that I can keep all the washing instructions and everything in there, so that for every project I make, I know how to care for it. So there's that. So just keep in mind that if you do use the Tweed Delight, it is a hand wash only yarn. And then the Halloween sock wool is you can wash it, but it says not to tumble dry it, so that's fine. And then for the cotton, for my other one, says the same thing. You can wash it, but just do not put it in the dryer. So that's cool. So that's kind of everything that I've completed, you guys. I'm actually super excited for all of this, and I cannot wait to make more stuff. Like, I've been pretty productive lately. I'm pretty excited for like all the stuff that I've been making. So yeah, so that's it, you guys, for all of my handmade items. Onto the books that I've finished. I did finish Ribbing and Ruin by Nancy Warren. It is the last book in her Vampires Knitting Club series. It's not the last book, it's just the last book that has been published. So I'm hoping, because it ended in a way that the story's not finished, so I am hoping that she'll release some more books this year. But so far I've read all of the Vampire Knitting Club series to the very last one that was out. I actually loved it. I loved it. I finished a few weeks ago though, so I can't remember exactly what it was about. But honestly, if you love like cozy mysteries and cozy mysteries that are set in England, I highly recommend this one. They're not your traditional sparkling in the sun type vampires or brutal vampires, although they can be brutal if they wish to. Most of the vampires are actually elderly, but it's so cute, and they all knit, and like obviously there's death because it's a cozy mystery. But I highly recommend the whole Vampire Knitting Club series. It is such a good series. If you can, try and listen to the audiobooks though, because I feel like the audiobooks just give it that extra something, and I love it. It's just great. I honestly cannot say anything more about it because, like, I don't know what else to say. It's just great. So I finished that one. I want to say that was book 13, I think, in the series so far. And then I finished 56 Days by Catherine Ryan Howard. It is a COVID book. Now, that one actually did throw me for a loop. It took me a while to actually read that one, even though I was enjoying reading it. When I wasn't reading it, I didn't want to pick it up. But then when I picked it up, I loved reading it. So there was that. Now, with this particular book, it is about Ciara or Sierra, however you pronounce it, which is our main female character, and then Oliver, which is our main male character. And it flips back from present day to in the past, and then right at the very end of the book, a few days into the future, I want to say. So it has multiple, like it has a multiple point of view timeline going on, but it also has multiple point of views between Ciara and Oliver. Now, going into this book, I already knew that it was about COVID. I already knew that these two met in a supermarket and they started dating right as COVID hit Ireland, and they decided when the lockdown was announced to live together and continue their dating in 56 days basically. And I knew going into this book that somebody died. I didn't know who or what happened or anything like that. Now, for a good chunk of the book, that's exactly what I thought, that they were living together, dating, all that sort of stuff. Oliver had some secrets that he didn't really want her to know about, but like, who doesn't have secrets in their past? So I didn't really think too much about it. But as I get further into the book, there were parts that kind of threw me for a loop. Not in a bad way, but just what I wasn't expecting it because of the preconceived thought that I had about this book when I went into it. It was not what I thought. I mean, what happens does happen, but the backstory and then the present story to get to the person dying is completely different to what I thought that I had this preconceived notion of. And I don't know how to explain it though, because like I don't want to call it a thriller because I wouldn't exactly call 56 Days a thriller. There's nothing thrilling that happens in this book. But I guess it could be kind of classified as a thriller, and like I just don't want to give away anything because I didn't know what happened in this book when I went into it. I had this preconceived thought that I did, and then what actually happened, I was like, what? And I did enjoy it. I actually did enjoy the whole entire book. I did only give it 4 stars though, and that is because the past sections and then the two multiple point of views between the two, in my opinion, took too long. And some of the things that were happening were being basically retold several times between the two, and it was just too much and there was no need for it. So I feel like it was kind of filler to build up to what happens in the end, which obviously you do need a little bit of filler to get there, and you do need a little bit, like you need a storyline, and obviously it's being told in multiple point of views, so you want to be able to get both of their point of views from the experiences they're having. But these experiences were being continuously retold, and so it would be like 56 days ago, today, 26 days ago, today, 15 days ago. Like, it was jumping back and forth like that, that's fine. But then some of the things would be retold again. It's just like, I already know this because you've said this and you've already, like, you know. So that kind of annoyed me, and I thought that basically it could have been shortened because there was just filler in this book that I just felt like didn't need to be there. But I did enjoy it. It wasn't as crazy as I thought it would be. And also the ending kind of, like, sorry guys, my camera cut off. So as I was saying, based on the very last page that you read in the book, you obviously know how it ends, but it's cut off quite abruptly. you can gather from like what is said that you know what happens, but it's just that it gets cut off quite abruptly. So there's that. But I'm finished. It took me a while to finish it, but it's done. I did read it on Kindle. I purchased a copy of the ebook. I think it was like $7 Australian. Do I recommend it? I do. I just think you need to be aware that it's not going to be a 5-star book. And that there are some things in there that I think could have been done better, like the whole filler parts in the lead up to the murder, basically. But yeah, so that's that, you guys. And I don't know if Catherine Ryan Howard has written any other books, so I'll have to check that out. But if she has, I like the book enough that I would read another one of hers. So, you know, we'll see. And then on to what I'm currently reading. I've only got one book on the go. I know, crazy. Normally I have multiple. But I haven't gotten very far into it. I'm just going to find it on my Kindle app on my phone, because my Kindle is actually in my bedroom and I'm too lazy to go get it. So give me a second while I bring it up. Okay, so this book is called Digging Up Love by Chandra Bloomberg. I believe she is actually a Black author. And surprisingly, I don't think I've ever actually read any books by Black authors, or at least not knowingly. Not because I don't sort out Black authors or anything like that. It's just that I don't even think about the author when I'm reading a book. When I pick books to read, my choices are solely based on what it says about the book on the blurb on the back. And if it sounds interesting, I read it. I literally have no idea about any of the authors, who they are, what skin color they are, where they're from, or anything like that. 90% of the time I read a book, I have no idea, because I don't bother looking up the authors. I know that probably sounds terrible, but I just don't. But I'm positive that Chandra Bloomberg is a Black author. So I'm actually really excited, because I don't think we have enough Black authors out there, and especially female Black authors. I don't think we have enough. So it's good to be able to read something from a Black author. I did actually know before I went into reading this book that the author was Black, because I saw it recommended actually on Goodreads as a Black author for Black History Month. So I didn't pick it because of that, but I saw it on there. I already had the book actually in my library before I saw that, because I got it off of, if you've never heard of this thing before, Amazon has something on there called Amazon Reads, where I think you need to be a Prime member. I could be wrong, but I think you do. But Amazon Reads, and you get to pick you get to pick from a group of books each month for free to read, and this was one of them. And I read the blurb and I was like, this sounds great. I picked it, and then I saw about a week or so later that she was a Black author. So there's that. So basically it is the first book in the Taste of Love series, and it is about Alicia Blake. And Alicia Blake works in the kitchen of her grandparents' restaurant in rural Illinois. And she has dreams of opening up a bakery, but she feels, I guess, responsible for her grandparents and being there for them when they need help and all that sort of stuff. Whereas her sister is in Chicago and does not have any of those sorts. And then on the night that Alicia is going to tell her grandparents that she is going to be moving and opening up a bakery, her grandparents decide to tell her that they would like her to actually start being like the head pastry chef for their little restaurant, which then throws obviously a spanner in the works, And in this process, she goes to visit her sister in Chicago for like a night or 2 nights, and then when she comes back, she finds out that her grandparents have dug up a dinosaur bone in their backyard. And so a professor is coming from, I don't know what university, but a university to come investigate to see if it actually is really a dinosaur bone, and then it goes from there. It is a romance book, by the way, you guys. I've only just started it, so I'm only up to the bit where she finds out that her grandparents found a dinosaur bone in their backyard when they were digging up the backyard, I think to install a pool or something like that. I don't know. But it seems really cute so far, so I'm really, really enjoying what I've read so far, but I haven't read a lot, so there's that. But if you are interested in any of these things, I will leave links down below for you guys to check out. And yeah, that's kind of everything. I don't have too much going on today. It's like 1:40 at the moment. Nate will be home at 2:30 from work. Then we're going to go get food, and I'm just going to basically chill the rest of the afternoon. It has been raining earlier this morning. I'm hoping it'll rain again because it's so hot. It's like 91% humidity and it's killing me. That's why I put my fan on. You could probably hear that. I apologize, but if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that this office has no ceiling fan and no aircon, and I have to have a pedestal fan, so you're going to hear that in the background. But yeah, there's that. So I'm just planning on not really doing that much because I just want to have a chill few days off, that I've got a few days off from work, and I just want to focus on knitting and crocheting and just organizing this office, y'all. This office is bad, and I also have like a crap ton of yarn that I bought recently that I need to organize and put away. And I also need to go through my yarn because I know I have some yarns in my stash that I no longer care for because I bought it when I was a very beginner to crochet and knitting, and I don't really care for it anymore. So not because it's bad or anything, but I've moved on to higher quality yarns, like hand-dyed yarns and stuff like this. This is a beautiful hand-dyed yarn. You'll have to excuse it being scrunched up like that. It was knit up and I pulled it out. But, you know, and like Hobie, even though Hobie's yarns obviously not hand-dyed, in my opinion, they are more higher quality than, say, Michael's or Hobby Lobby, or if you're in Australia, Spotlight or Lincraft. And so I want to go through those yarns that I no longer care for and put them together in bundles and then list them on eBay, because then that money can go to buy more yarn like I need it. So there's that. And then you guys, I don't think it's going to get done this weekend, but I'm planning it. I have this fabric here. I bought this from Spotlight. It is a fat quarter stack. It has four different patterns, and they are all Toy Story. The fabric that got me though was this one. I don't know how, if you're going to be able to see it very well, but this one here, the aliens. You guys, this was on special for $17.50. It was way more expensive than that full price, but it was on special for $17.50, and I've had it for weeks and weeks now, but I grabbed it because I saw that alien pattern. I was like, yes, I need this. One of these fabrics is going to be made into something for my fiance. I think he wants it for a cover for one of his guitar pedals, so that will be for him. But then the other three is going to be, I am going to sew them into project bags for my knitting and crocheting, because I don't have enough, you guys. I have three. I've got this little one, which I bought off of Half-Baked Hand-Dyed Yarn on Etsy. It's this cute little Australian native birds one. I have this one, which I got from Ruby Fox Yarns. They don't sell these anymore. I don't really like this particular shape of bag, but this was a freebie because my order got messed up, so it's nice to have a freebie. And this one's got really cute castle blueprints all over it, so I love that. It's got all my yarns for the duck pattern that I'm going to be doing in there. Then I have this one, which actually, believe it or not, is a Christmas canvas tote bag from Bath and Body Works. It's the perfect size to be a project bag though, and I love it, so that's what I use it for. It's currently got socks in there because I'm working on these socks, and then some other yarn in there to make my duck, which is this here. I bought this pattern off of Ravelry, so it's got the yarn to make that. I'm going to make another one, but fluffy. So that's kind of all the project bags that I've got. And then I use like zipper pouches. I can't get them right now, they're stuck under stuff, but I use small like zipper clutch type style pouches as project bags as well, for small projects anyway. So yeah, so that's it, you guys. I'm going to clear off my desk so I can actually use it and do some stuff. I just finished editing a Bath and Body Works video. It's uploaded, and I've got more editing and stuff to do because I'm super behind in all my stuff, and you guys know how bad my internet is. My internet's actually gotten worse, so I don't stick to schedules because I can't rely on my internet. But yeah, so anyway guys, that's everything. I will chat to you later. Bye!